been in the market for a compact MPV which you can drive to work every day and travel with your entire family in it together, you only had one choice till now, the Maruti Ertiga standing behind me. But with the arrival of the Honda Mobilio, things have changed and become more confusing. So is the Mobilio worth the premium that Honda is asking for it? Well, we find out today, and to help us with that is our editor-in-chief, Ranjoy Mukherjee. Hi, Ron.
Hi, Ashish. And people have a lot of expectations from a Honda. Not to say that people don't have expectations from a Maruti, because Maruti has its traditional strengths. But we'll need to get into the cars and find out a little more deeply as to what they're all about.
Well, we all know that the Honda Mobilio really does look nice and snazzy from the outside. But how practical is it to live with? As with any auto portal review, we'll start with the boot first. Ranjoy?
Not too much of space here, if you would notice. You may not be able to fit in a golf bag with the rear seats up, the third row up. But yes, you can fit in smaller bags.
Well, the good part, of course, is that it's very flat. There's no loading lip here, so you can heave in that heavy luggage if you've got your arms full.
I agree, but if you want to create more space, all you need to do is just flip down and we just pull this one tag here and voila, you get a larger loading area.
Well, that's a really easy thing to do, really, isn't it?
It's absolutely easy thing to do.
Well, now let's have a look at how big the Ertiga's boot space is. Well, Ranjoy, if you thought the Mobilio was tight on rear space, this one, what do you think? It's a little less than that.
Even with the rear seats down, it is not as spacious or this thing as the Mobilio. I think the Mobilio has
The edge.
utilized space much more effectively.
Well, I think the Mobilio definitely has the edge in terms of the boot space, with all three rows up and even with the last one down. This bench has got good amount of leg room. If you adjust the front seats according to my height, which is 5'10", you also get these rare AC vents on the top of the line ZXi and ZDi versions, and they really go a long way in adding to the comfort. What you also get are these sliding seats. You can push them forward or backwards depending on who's sitting at the back. Another plus point is, of course, this flattish floor panel, which really helps for the middle passenger on those long journeys to keep his feet at. Well, once you're in, legroom is just about adequate in the last row of seats, but it's not really much. Not really ideal for tall passengers, but maybe these seats are good for small kids, really. Well, we all know about Honda's man maximum, machine minimum concept, and to show you that it's not just a catchy punchline that they have, we'll get into the car and we'll start with the third seat. Well, getting inside the last row is pretty easy. You just have to pull this lever here, flip this one down, and it's a nice tumble down effect, which Honda calls it. Very easy to get inside.
Boom!
Well, surprisingly, there's decent space over here for an adult like me. I'm 5'10", and well, now it's a bit tight. Well, it's not really that great. In fact, now once you've put the seat in its place, you know, somebody will suffer from knee cramps on that long journey. So can I get back in the front seat again?
No, right now I'll be getting into the back seat and we will talk. This is much better.
Well, the Rascal is not very roomy. You'll actually be sitting with your legs right in your mouth if you sit here for long journeys. And it is actually only good for kids. But on the plus side, you get your own cup holders, and there's also a small tray to put your cell phone or something like that in. Decent place, better than the Ertiga for sure, but not really ideal for a tall adult like me.
Let us look at the air conditioning vents here. It has the same type of air conditioning vent which is there in the Ertiga. That is, there are no rows for the third seat, but the airflow is powerful enough to cool the rear cabin very evenly, and I think that's a good point.
Well, I've adjusted the front seat according to my height, which is 5'10", and as you can see, these front seats are scooped out from the back, which really does help in getting you extra legroom. Headroom is really generous, and the best part about these seats is, of course, that you can slide them forward or push them back if you want that extra bit of room. So overall, a great place to be in the second row of the Mobilio. Well, if you've been inside a Brio or a Honda Amaze before, then this cabin will be very, very familiar to you. It's exactly the same dashboard, and it's exactly the same steering wheel, in fact. Everything really seems very familiar. I think they've done this on purpose to cut costs, Ranjoy. They haven't changed much.
But this beige and black combination looks good. Lots of plastic around, and I think that the quality of switchgear also is quite decent. Of course, on the top model, one would have preferred to see an electronic climate control system and things like that. But those are personal things and minor gripes. I don't think that is the major deal breaker. I do see overall a lot of good quality in this cabin.
Well, so in the overall analysis, it's a great place to be. The front seats, just like the rear ones, are very nice and very comfortable in the long run. Great work in terms of quality, refinement, and overall ambience. Full marks to Honda, and a job well done.
Terrific. Well, Maruti also seems to have followed the same modular concept. If you notice, the Ertiga has the same dashboard that you would see, say, in a Swift
Or a Dzire.
or in a Dzire, because it is again on the same modular platform. I personally feel, Ashish, that the quality and the thing of this car is also fantastic. Like, I love that glass holder which is in front of the air conditioning vent. I think that's a very neat touch. Also, this little bit of brushed aluminium feel here and a little cove here. Overall, the dashboard quality seems to be very good.
So overall, I think in terms of the seats and comfort, the Ertiga still has that slight edge over the Mobilio in terms of the front seats.
Absolutely so.
Well, the first question you will ask yourself when you drive the Mobilio is, am I really driving an MPV? Because it certainly doesn't feel like one. It really does feel like a proper hatchback that you are driving in the city. On the downside though, the engine is a little noisy. You know, it does tend to get a little buzzy when you push it. It's got about 100 PS of power, which is pretty good, and is about 10 PS more than the Ertigas. And in the overall analysis, it's a very, very responsive engine. It starts responding around 1500 RPM, which means driving in the city really is a breezy affair. Well, Honda makes one of the most nicest gearboxes, and this one is no different. It's nice and easy. The gate is very, very narrow, and you really will enjoy changing gears. In fact, you will change them just for the heck of it, like I am doing right now. Well, the steering is really nice and easy when you're inside the city. It's very light, and once you move on the highway, it really does weight up quite nicely, because the steering itself, it offers pretty good communication, considering it is, at the end of the day, an MPV.
Whatever be the merits or the demerits of the Mobilio, the Ertiga of course holds its own as far as power plant is concerned. One very good thing that I like about the Ertiga engine is that it's a very quiet engine. Power wise, there's not much of a difference. This is 90 PS, whereas the Mobilio is 100 PS. A very small difference in performance which can hardly be felt. But I do feel that this engine is a very quiet engine compared to that one. The gearbox is a little notchy, it takes some effort to go through the gate, but it's okay to use. I wouldn't say that again it's too much of a deal breaker. I think it's fine. But overall the ride quality is quite good. It's quite compliant, and I think the car with its adequate ground clearance rides very well on our pothole roads, giving a cassetting performance. Overall, the Ertiga just gives you a feeling of being the kind of car that you would love driving while going on those long drives. Even in the city, it's a very maneuverable car. It's extremely fuel efficient. It still will give you 17 to 18 kilometers to a liter in real world conditions with the air conditioning on, and all these things definitely make the Ertiga, with its low NVH levels, the ideal car to drive or be driven in.
Well, I think so, Ranjan. In the overall analysis, the Maruti Ertiga really does come across as a very honest and value for money product, and you really do get what you pay for.
If you're looking for something which is an old workhorse, easy to maintain, and has a pretty reliable reputation, then I would say that the Ertiga is it. But of course, if you're looking for something posh, something newer, something that is fancier, the Mobilio does it.
Well, folks, so that's the conclusion we have for you. The Mobilio wins this one, but just by that small whisker. If you are on a tight budget, you can of course still go in for that Ertiga. It's still a very good car, great value for money. And of course, Honda, always the posh badge. Go for it. If you have the extra cash, it's really worth spending that much more extra. And if you want to know more about these cars and their rivals, head to our website, autoportal.com. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on this link above here. It's bye for now, and hope to see you soon.
Hope to see you soon with another comparison. Bye for now.